Hey, so if a Black woman or a person of color is telling you that something is racist, something is microaggressive, something is not sitting with them the right way, that is not the time for you as a white person to open your mouth and say, actually, no. Yes, I'm talking about Taylor Swift. I'm talking about the critiques surrounding Taylor Swift. I know we're tired. I know it's been talked about ad nauseum, but I do think this is really important and it's something that we should continue to talk about. So one side of the criticisms about this album are related to stylistic choice, vocals, musical composition, right? People can have their opinions on that. What I want to talk about is the critiques of the lyrics and specifically the way people are critiquing the racist and microaggressive undertones that are within the lyrics. And a large majority of the people calling that out and noticing that are Black women and people of color. And I am seeing white women like myself commenting back on a lot of those critiques saying, but she didn't mean it in this way. And you're reaching and you're looking too far into it, and it's not racist. Like, how could she be racist when in her music video she surrounded herself with people of color and she endorsed Kamala Harris for all of these people are making excuses like this for a person that they don't even know. It's so wild to me. When a Black person or a person of color says that something is racist, that is not when we go, hey, actually, no. We have to sit with that and reflect and go, why didn't I think of it that way? How can I do better in the future? How can I call this out? How can I, et cetera, et cetera. There is work that has to be done. If your first instinct when a Black person or a person of color says something is racist, if your first instinct is to say actually or but, there is work that needs to be done. It's so disheartening to me to see people defend this album and defend a billionaire with their whole fucking life when there are so many other people that energy could go towards, particularly people of color. Like, people of color are being unalived. They are being abducted in the streets. They are abroad and domestically are experiencing violence on insane levels. And so many people have not had the energy or the intensity in speaking about those things. But when it comes to Taylor Swift, they are fighting for their lives in the comment section. We should be fighting for our lives in the comment section when it comes to trans people, violence against Black people, immigrant rights, Palestine. These are things we should be fighting for our lives for in the comment section. These are things we should be going out and protesting rather than like going and defending a white billionaire who you've never met. Anyway, this is the last show I'm going to say on Taylor Swift because she doesn't deserve my time, energy, the space on my phone anymore, because it just makes me so fucking grossed out the way people are invalidating Black women when they say something is racist. It's so like, white women, we need to have a chat like us and stop relying on Black women to do all of this work and hold all of this burden for us to then go back and invalidate them. We have work to.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to discuss about the major conversation about Taylor Swift's latest album, The Life of a Showgirl. People have been talking, and not just because of the sound, it's the lyrics and the symbols and the hidden meaning. And a disclaimer, this video is for commentary and education purposes only. I'll be discussing public reaction. Let's dig in.
Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious. The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in, seem authentic. Once the pop landscape started to change in the late 2000s and early 2010s, that's when she started to transition to making pop music. And now to talk about white girls. White girls don't have sex. They don't know what that is. White girls they're cute, they're adorable, they're like dolls, they're precious, they have to be protected. Do you remember a couple months ago whenever parents would bring their kids to Sabrina Carpenter shows and then act aghast because Sabrina Carpenter, who is a highly sexual artist, was referencing sex on stage? Of course they were, because how could a short, cute little white girl who is also blonde, a blonde, cute little white girl, how could she possibly know what sex is? It's the assumption. Women having sexual freedom and willingly engaging in sex is highly associated with blackness. You can see this most clearly when it comes to things like Disney and Nickelodeon stars. Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, all-American girl. And what does she do whenever she wanted to shed the Disney image and say, hey, I'm not just a little girl anymore? She releases Can't Be Tamed in bangers. Ariana Grande, another cute little white girl. What does she do whenever she wants to shed the childhood image? She releases Dangerous Woman in Sweetener. They would do things like hang out with rappers. They would incorporate black music styles into their own music. So that way whenever they'd be sexual, it's like, oh, I'm not just a little white girl anymore. And over time, they would drift away from that because that wasn't who they authentically were. They were just using that as a way to escape the chains of being a white girl. Taylor Swift has never had to do that, and why would she? She makes being a white girl so fucking profitable. And the thing about Taylor Swift is that being a white girl is not just profitable for her, it's her entire brand. Because she's just, like, so awkward. And whenever she dances on stage, she's, like, bad because she's like, awkward. And she loves, like, cats and baking and, like, hanging out with her fans. And she would likely continue with this forever, except for one small problem. Taylor Swift is 35 years old. And it's not like she's showing signs of aging or anything. But the brand of being a white girl is very much being a white girl. What happens in a few years whenever she's 40? What happens whenever she starts to get wrinkles? Once you're middle-aged, it's not cute anymore to be awkward. So she's aging out of being a white girl, but she doesn't have a brand or really even a sense of self outside of being a white girl. Also, low-key, this is the entire key to her relationship with Travis Kelce, which is not going to go well, but that's a story for another day. And keep in mind, the world has been moving on. An artist like Sabrina Carpenter could not exist 10 years ago. There was nowhere in the pop landscape for her. For like a cute little white girl who's that sexual. It didn't exist. And then on top of that, things have been rapidly changing politically. So people want different things from women now. And The Life of a Showgirl is a testament to Taylor's inability to rise to the occasion. Like on the song Wish List. Oh, everybody wants bright lights and designer things, and they want like a fat ass. But me, then we get to the chorus, but me, I just want to have all of your kids. I want to have all of your kids, and then I want to live in a house, and I want the driveway to have a basketball hoop in it for our kids. And Taylor's personal struggle between her being her own woman and her being a cute little white girl is really embodied by the song Wood. It's called Wood because it's in reference to Travis Kelce's, that. But the song isn't sexual at all, because the song isn't about sex. It's about a woman justifying the fact that she has sex. The song starts with her picking petals off of a daisy. Oh, he loves me not. Taylor portrays herself as being super insecure until Travis Kelce digmatizes her and opens up her eyes. And keep in mind, white girls cannot be sexual beings. It's not that she has sexual feelings, it's that a man came along and unlocked it in her. The curse was lifted. You see, you guys, it's not about sex at all. It's about love. His love was the key that opened my thighs. I don't have sexual feelings. I'm just a little white girl. Because this album is supposed to be her embodying her sexual energy, thus, Life of a Showgirl. But Taylor either feels unable or isn't willing or whatever it is you want it to be. Taylor doesn't actually embody it. She doesn't explore it because the embodiment of her sexual energy would come at the expense of the brand of Taylor Swift. It's seemingly not compatible, or at least she thinks or her team thinks that it's not compatible. So she has to be her own fully embodied grown woman in order to keep up with the times, but she also has to be like a cute little white girl in order to keep up with the brand of Taylor Swift. And in trying to do both, she successfully does nothing. I would be really curious to know if the album was even her idea, especially since so many of the songs sound like rejected tracks off of some of her old albums. Also, how are you gonna have an album called Life of a Showgirl and yet not a single fucking song on the album has a brass section? Showgirl music is big band, it's blaring horns, it's a hell of a lot of fun. And it just did not exist on this album. Not to mention, none of the songs actually have anything to do with being a showgirl, and really not even the song The Life of a Showgirl. Like, she could have just used the word follies once, and I would have been satisfied. But discussing why the music isn't good sonically is not really the purpose of this video. If you have any questions or you disagree with me, please let me know. I love thinking about white women, and Taylor Swift is just... she's the embodiment of...
Taylor Swift has revealed herself to be resentful of black women, or at least deeply insecure when it comes to comparing herself to black women. In the song Opalite, Taylor is referencing Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. The lyrics of Opalite include, "You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is opalite." So Taylor is not only using the lyrics in the song to talk about how she is so much better for Travis than his ex-girlfriend is, which is inconsiderate on its face. What did that lady ever do to you? But she is choosing to do that using the imagery of onyx, which is typically black, and opalite, which is typically white. Or in Eldest Daughter, Taylor says, "I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down." The language of bad bitch and savage are primarily associated with black women, at least in this context, especially black women in hip-hop. Both make me think of Megan Thee Stallion immediately. And there were rumors that Travis was trying to holler at Megan back in 2023, shortly before Travis and Taylor started dating. So I read this lyric as, "Sorry, I'm not a hot, cool black woman like he usually dates." Or in Wishlist, she says they want a fat ass and a baby face. Big booties are not unique to black women, but if we're all being honest here about the associations of black women's bodies over the last 400 years, big booties are and have been associated with black women. Now, could I understand why Taylor might be insecure about this? Yeah. Knowing that thousands, if not millions of people are looking at your man's exes and then looking at you like, huh? Would make me insecure too. But to be even relatively conscious of the trope of white men dating black women until it's time to settle down and have white babies, or the trope of men dating black women until they get richer or more famous, or to know the way that Kayla Nicole has been dragged to hell and back because her high-profile ex, a white man, started a very public relationship with one of the biggest pop stars in the world, a white woman, and how many people hurled racist jokes at her and black women generally for it, to know all that and still dunk on her one more time to your millions of loyal fans. For this to come up on at least 3 different songs in one album, for her to play into harmful tropes that she has to be aware of, and for so many of Taylor's fans to not notice or just not care, this album is simply not for me. There is enough thinly veiled racial resentment in the world toward black women. I don't need it in my pop bops.
Taylor Swift released Life of a Showgirl, and it has the Swifties divided. I never thought that I would see the day that this lady's fan base would be divided on a body of work and actually hold this woman accountable. My God, on today, let's talk about it. But if you're new here, I'm Sage. I love pop culture. I do a lot of deep dives. Let's get into my thoughts on Life of a Showgirl and the reputation of Taylor Swift. Trigger warning, if you are a Swiftie, you might want to scroll now. If you are a die-hard Swiftie and will ride with this lady till the wheels fall off and you haven't woken up yet, I will trigger you. Go on ahead and scroll, but without further ado, let us begin. I stand firm that Taylor Swift's music has always been mediocre at best. Now, I have listened to some of her albums, I have, and it's not anything that is groundbreaking. It doesn't move the needle forward as far as music and the pop landscape in general. Even when she was doing country, she wasn't doing anything spectacular. But the one thing that Taylor Swift has done well is marketing. She has positioned herself very well and in turn has earned trust with her fan base off of her beliefs, right? In 2009, when Kanye West infamously interrupted Taylor Swift during her acceptance speech, that was the moment that America saw Taylor Swift as this poor little white girl, the girl next door, and she has built her platform off of that narrative ever since. So Kanye West is problematic. We're not talking about him, but he was right in saying, I made that bitch famous, because that moment projected her career and how she was perceived in the public eye. Taylor Swift has built her platform off of women empowerment, being a girl boss, the importance of female friendships and sisterhood, but still sharing her messy dating history. And even if you look back to her earlier works, Taylor Swift has always been a pick-me. She has always been male-centered, even though her beliefs and how she wants to position herself to her fans, she wants to lean into the white feminist narrative. But in all actuality, she has just wanted to get chosen. So with this Life of a Showgirl rollout, for her to announce the album on her now fiance's podcast, and then 2 weeks later actually officially announce the engagement, she is aligning herself out of the feminist, as y'all would like to say, the girl boss status, and now she is leaning into a more conservative rollout, right? Now again, this may trigger the Swifties, but keep walking with me. I don't think that y'all were as excited about your fave getting engaged as y'all would like to think that y'all were. Because now with her getting a ring, that is taking a piece of her relatability away. She is now going to lean into that conservative housewife. She's going to lean into conservative lifestyle now, which totally negates what she built her platform on. She built her platform on girlhood, and now she is leaning into the trad conservative agenda. Please watch my mutual Little Debbie's video because she did such a good job breaking it down. She ate with her video. Y'all got to watch it. I'll tag her. And then for her to preach sisterhood and being a girl boss, for her to throw shots at Charlie XCX and Olivia Rodrigo, the pop girls that are coming up behind her, doesn't that negate everything that she stands for? Yeah, I'm waiting. I think the veil is finally coming off for some of y'all. Now, I'm also not naive. I know that true Swifties will gaslight themselves and listen to this album 15 times, and by next week, y'all be calling it a masterpiece. But to the Swifties that have woken up, that are seeing what this girl is putting down, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please, Swifties who have fucking sense, because I'm not going to go back and forth with nobody. I'm also going to make a video on my thoughts, especially being a millennial. This is my pop queen. As a millennial, looking at the current pop landscape and where we are at in pop music, because it is very, very interesting. But yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see y'all in my next one.
Okay, I feel the need to weigh in on the Taylor Swift discourse that's happening right now. I've been a Swiftie since 2021, okay? Been loving it here. Like, I mean, there's some great people in this community, and I think we get a bad rep, but like, at least my side of the internet that I occupy, it's generally quite positive and quite good vibes, and I feel very welcome here, right? But there are a lot of people who are asking me, oh my gosh, do you think Taylor Swift is a racist? And do you feel personally offended by the lyrics of Opalite? And to that I say, I genuinely cannot fathom the fact that people will read the lyrics of Opalite or Wishlist or Eldest Daughter and think Taylor Swift is racist. Oh, Taylor Swift is a white supremacist, right? And so I'm choosing to believe that one of two things, is happening. So number one, you guys don't understand the words that you read. Like, you lack reading comprehension. Like you don't quite understand how words fit together in context, right? Or you've already decided that Taylor Swift is a racist, right? And so you're grasping at anything that you can grasp at so that, it can fit that narrative. But the thing is that you are not going about that in a smart way, because your, lyrics that prove that she's racist can quite easily be debunked, with context. That word, context. Have a couple kids got the whole block looking like you. Not got the whole block. Have a couple kids got the whole block looking like you. If you need me to explain that to you, I can't help you, right? I mean, you guys try to do the exact same thing with I Hate It Here. She literally said, I'd want to go back to a decade like the 1930s. Everyone was like, oh my god, she's a racist. Oh, but the next lyric is, but without all the racists. Right. You guys looked at the lyrics of Opalite. Sleep is through the onyx night, now the sky is opalite. Oh, okay. Did you guys listen to TTBD? Did we listen to the same album? Did we? Because that was dark. It was dark, and it was melancholic, and she was really going through a lot, right? But now the sky is opalite because Travis is in her life. Are you guys like? Do you guys is this like? In Eldest Daughter, she says, "I'm not a bad bitch. This isn't savage." Oh, so when you hear those two words, you guys associate that with black women? Like, that's automatically what you... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you guys are jumping to the conclusion that that's about black women says a lot more about you than it does about her. So, yeah. Do with that information what you will. That's just my take. I think that you guys are either really stupid or you guys are purposefully misunderstanding her, but I don't believe that people are reading that and genuinely believing that she's racist, because then we have bigger issues to talk about, you know.
So, the life of a showgirl is Taylor Swift's 12th studio album. It was dropped on October 3rd, 2025. On social media in black digital space, the album didn't just get typical fan discussion. It sparked specific commentary from black women. For example, one publication notes that the album raised concern of anti-blackness in some lyrical choice. Black women on Reddit and community forums have discussed hearing microaggression, subtle slides on or coded reference to black women, even if not explicitly named. So, with that content in place, let's explore exactly those what those reactions said. Here are some of the recurring themes and different quotes from black women reactions on the to the album. From the Reddit thread is I did feel the microaggression in a few of the lyrics, and another comment gave it a fair chance to my skin crawled the extra time because of all the racist and sexist dog whistles. I see why she appeals to racists. From commentary article, some argued that the album used phrase, symbols, and narratives seemed to sideline black women's experience, to treat them as background rather than equal participants. Keep feeds point are microaggressions, stroke coding language, representation and reliability, and the third one is tone deaf moments. When we move forward, let's zoom in on some lyrics that has drawn targets commentary from black women. One from track Opalites. Sleepless in the Oxy night, but now the sky is opalite. Some interpret Oxy as symbolizing blackness. They opalite as some transformed state. The reaction was what is the transformation implying? That blackness is darkness and the light comes from leaving it or being rescued. This is seen as a potential microaggression or coded message. The second one is from Eldest Daughter. Some black women feel line like I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage. Reflect name calling culture, and reference song by black women, e.g., Megan the Stallion Savage. It's it raises questions of culture borrowing or overshadowing, and also from actually romantic. This song is persevered by some, or some is punching down, targeting another woman, and the feedbacks from black women included comments like, once you see women of color in her narrative, but a side player, it's hard to ignore the power dramatic. These examples don't necessarily prove Malia's intent, but the impact on black women listeners is real. It's real and widely discussed. Why are the response from these black women significant? One is culture visibility and voice. Black women are frequently marginalized in mainstream pop culture. When a dominant pop star use aesthetic or language tied to black culture without centering black women's experience, some listeners feel erased. Second is microaggression accumulation. While our lyric may seem subtitle for a black woman, the accumulation of lyrics and symbols that feels dismissive or coded add up, that leads to fatigue. Power dynamic, that's the third one. Taylor Swift is one of the biggest pop star globally. Her audience is massive. When she includes or reference themes related to relationship, race, desirability, or rescue narrative, black women are attentive because they are watching how she wields her influence. Fandom identity. Many black women who are Swift fans feels due experience. They love part of her work, but also feel conflicted when lyrics or imaginary feels misaligned with their lived reality, as one comment said, I am one of the only Swifties here. I feel roots of her while also feeling uncomfortable. This tension is part of why these reactions are not worthy. Here are some ways black women are engaging with the album and its discussion, voicing criticize publicity, holding space for discussion, like forum like, and selective consumptions, dialogue around fandom and identity, where many are unpacking how being a black woman fan of Taylor Swift feels different. Yeah, and based on the feedback from black women, here are suggestions. Taylor Swift and major pop star artists might consider certain center diverse voice, check cultural reference, narrative of rescue stroke privilege, engage in dialogues, and be transparent and inclusive. To wrap up, the reaction from black women to Taylor Swift, the life of a showgirl, are complex. They include admiration, discomfort, and reflection. They remind us that Fandom isn't just about the music, it's about identity, culture, representation, and power. So if you are listening through this lens, ask yourself, what do the lyrics mean to me? How do I feel when iconic pop culture touches my identity or community? And what changes would I like to see in how major artists engage with diverse voices? If this video resonates, please like, share, and subscribe for more culture deep conversation. And now I would love to hear from you, black women or women of color. How did you feel listening to the album? Which lyrics stood out to you? Which lyrics stood out to you in a positive or negative way? And drop your thoughts at the comment. Let us have insightful and real conversation. Thank you for watching.